모두가 안전해집니다. 어린이가 안전하게 뛰어놀 수 있는 부산. 아이 키우기 좋은 도시는 우리 모두의 미래이자 희망입니다. 이 캠페인은 어린이가 안전한 부산을 만드는 은행, B&K 부산은행과 함께합니다.
안녕하세요. 영화배우 김민재입니다. 마약 시작하면 끝입니다.
너도 시작해볼래? 정말 끝내준대.
집중이 잘 안 돼? 이거 하나면 끝나.
괜찮아. 뒤끝 없어.
끝난다 끝나.
인생 끝! 마약 시작이 인생 끝입니다. 공익광고협의회.
Coming up next is Inside Out Busan with Min-Soo Shin. BEFM 부산 영어방송.
Hello, and happy Wednesday to you all. This is Inside Out Busan. I'm your host, Min-Soo Shin. You know, our country of Korea shines in areas like fast internet, 관공서 업무 처리 속도, efficient government offices. Oh, we take pride in this, right? As well as some of the easiest and best subway systems. But there's one thing where our country lags behind, and we're probably in dead last, almost or close to it globally. 세계 꼴찌인 분야 바로 출산율입니다. Our birth rate. South Korea's birth or fertility rate hit yet another record low in the third quarter of this year. Alarms about South Korea's rapid depopulation keeps blaring even around the world. 신경 쓰이네 이게.
As we walk on by, and we fly just like birds of a feather. I won't tell no lie. All of the people around us, they say, can they be that close? Just let me state for the record, we're giving love in a family dose. We are family. Hey, I got all my sisters with me. We are family. Get up, everybody, and sing. Sing it to me. We are family. I got all my sisters with me. We are family. Get up, everybody, and sing. Living life is fun, and we've just begun to get our share of this world's delight. High hopes we have for the future and our goals in sight. We know we don't get depressed. Here's what we call our golden rule. Have faith in you and the things you do. You won't go wrong. Oh no, this is our family jewel. We are family. Sing it to me. I got all my
Sister Sledge with We Are Family to start off our show. Hello, everybody. This is the Wednesday edition of Inside Busan, the first hour of our show. I'm your host, Min-Soo Shin. Happy Wednesday to you all. So yeah, I started off the show with not the best of news. Our country, this is something that's been probably covered during our News Bites segment. You might have heard during the primetime news or just news throughout the day. According to data released by Statistics Korea, Korea's fertility rate, or our birth rate, it fell to a record low of 0.7 in the third quarter of this year. Now, this is compared to this is down 0.1 from last year. So, like I said, we're seeing a continuous decrease in our birth rate. This is only 1/3 of the replacement level, which is 2.1, that's required to sustain a nation's population. That's a huge gap, right, between 2.1 and 0.7. We're not even halfway there. We're only a third way there. Additionally, the number of marriages, which is a crucial factor when it comes to influencing the birth rate of a country, this also saw a significant drop. Now, this is a little different from what I've been seeing. 요즘, like, people around me just have been getting married a lot, but just the total number here in Korea, it's not showing that. Also, our country is reportedly set to record the lowest number of first graders entering elementary school next year. I'm sure this is something that some of you do remember being covered during our news segment. So all signs pointing to less and less people overall in our country. So the Bank of Korea's Economic Research Institute, they issued a pretty gloomy prediction. Now let me share with you this. So more bad news I'm sharing. If our country doesn't increase its birth rate, there's a 68% chance, now that's almost 70%, right, that our country's economic growth could drop below 0% by the year 2050. All right, doing the math, how many years do we have left, right? 27 years that we have left until 2050. So the fear that Korea could become the first country in the world to face population decline to the point of disappearing, going extinct, this is becoming a very alarming reality. Like I said, time again, we've been covering news about this, I want to say for the past, maybe even almost like 5 years to a decade. And I'm not saying only here at BEFM, just news, media outlets in general here in Korea. We've been seeing a continuous decline in our birth rate. So if the numbers that I've provided for you and the gloomy outlook that I provided for you just now doesn't get you scared, what will? You know what I mean? So this is something to be concerned about, not only the authorities, not only our central government, not only our local governments, not only related organizations, but we as a society, we as citizens of Korea also do need to be in the know of this current situation. So let me get an outlook on the situation when it comes to our listeners. I don't think this is too personal. Could you tell me if you have any siblings, brothers or sisters? How many do you have? Do you come from a big family? Do you come from a rather small family? And if you do have siblings, what are some of the positive aspects of having a brother or sister, or brothers or sisters, or a mix of it, right? So I guess, this is to kind of show people, provide people. I'm not saying, look at all these good things, right? So go, make families, go have more children. This is totally your choice, listeners. You have the freedom to do so or not. But I do want to provide you like both sides of the story so that you could weigh your options a little better. 여러분은 형제 또는 자매가 있습니까? 몇 명 되고 그리고 있으면 좋은 점은 무엇입니까? 이거 대해서 너무 궁금합니다. 제가 like I said, I want to kind of gauge our listeners if you come from like big families, smaller families, like what's the trend with just citizens these days? So let us know. Pound 9050 샵 9050 will cost you 101. If you want to chat with us for free, you could talk with us on our Kakao Talk or our YouTube. If you go into YouTube and search for BFM 부산영어방송, my face will pop up. Click on my face. Come join us and chat with us on the tube. All right, I'll be waiting for you. Time for today's News Bites. Time for News Bites. We have BFM newscaster Kate Chin with us here in the studio. Happy Wednesday, Kate.
Happy Wednesday, Min-soo.
Okay, hopefully you're doing well.
I'm doing all right.
Good to hear. All right, so always providing us with some of the headline-making news of our country as well as around the world. Let's get to our first bit of news.
Yes. It concerns the urea exports from China. It has been observed that the Chinese fertilizer industry will significantly reduce urea exports next year.
Okay.
Our industry has secured about 3 months, and there are growing concerns that our industry will be affected if exports decline next year.
Yes.
Becomes a reality.
Right. So this is something that I guess a bit of an update to what we covered a couple days ago with South Korea not going to sea, and the country has put a stop to urea imports. But let's get an outlook. If Chinese fertilizer industry will be reducing urea exports, what does this mean for our country?
So China's fertilizer industry anticipates concentrated demand for urea by early next year, emphasizing the need for export control of urea. Recent discussions among related associations, including Chinese officials, have urged voluntary export suspension of urea. Industry insiders expect complete export suspension, with 15 major Chinese companies committing to reduce overseas exports by 2/3 next year. There's speculation about implementing a factor export quota system, but the official government position is optimistic. The Korean government is actively working with China to resolve industry challenges, including requesting smooth customs clearance for urea. Despite official assurances, a significant reduction in Chinese exports next year could impact the industry.
Right. So the current situation of urea exports, urea that we receive, especially from, I think it was like 90% of
Yes, it was.
Our country's urea that comes from China. So if the fertilizer industry of the country is going to be reducing the amount of urea, I don't know if they're going to reduce the number they're producing, but reduce the number of exports. Yeah, we're probably going to see some, I guess, stoppages, maybe even halts of various services, because urea is something that affects transportation, because it's something that's used in oil and
Yes, it is.
for trucks, ships and whatnot. So very alarming.
And the steel industry also.
Definitely, right? Thank you so much for that. So we're going to have to keep our eyes on this. Continue to provide us updates on this. What's next?
So President Yoon Suk-yeol named Kim Hong-gil, chief of the Anti-Corruption Agency, as the new head of the Korea Communications Commission today. Kim, the current head of the Anti-Corruption and Civil Rights Commission, was tapped to replace Lee Dong-kwan as chairman of the state broadcasting watchdog, the presidential chief of staff Kim Dae-gi said during a press briefing. Lee resigned last week ahead of a parliamentary vote on his impeachment.
Right. So the update on the chief or the head of the anti-corruption agency, the KCC, the Korean Communication Commissions. I'm sorry. This is an update on, I believe, from last season. If I remember correctly, on what Annie had provided us. Tell us a bit about President Yoon's stance on his nomination, his choice.
So Kim Dae-gi said that the KCC faces conflicting interests and a backlog of pending issues, emphasizing the need for fair and efficient processing of duties. He also adds that nominee Kim Hong-gil, a former prosecutor with a strong commitment to law and principles, is viewed as the ideal candidate to safeguard the KCC's independence and fairness. And this nomination is a part of a broader cabinet reshuffle driven by upcoming parliamentary runs and Yoon's efforts to reshape his administration in his third year. Yoon recently replaced 6 cabinet ministers on Monday.
All right. So the latest in terms of President Yoon's nomination for the state broadcasting watchdog, he has named Kim Hong-il as the head. Thank you so much for that. Let's go to our last bit of news. Let's go international this time.
So, it's about Cyclone Michang. So the death toll from Cyclone Michang, which made landfall in southeastern India, has risen to at least 17. With strong winds of up to 110 kilometers per hour and heavy rain, Michang landed off the coast of Andhra Pradesh on the afternoon of the 5th local time. In the process, trees were pulled out, wires and communication lines were cut, and tens of thousands of square meters of crops fell. In Andhra Pradesh, about 9,500 residents have been evacuated to relief camps in schools and government buildings.
Okay, so this is very alarming. A lot of devastation taking place over in India because of this cyclone. Is there a chance of more areas being affected by it?
So earlier on the 3rd, when Michang approached, heavy rains also flooded Chennai and surrounding areas in southern Tamil Nadu, adjacent to Andhra Pradesh, flooding streets and flooding thousands of homes and cars. More than 61,000 people were evacuated from Chennai. The India Meteorological Department said Michang, which was moving northward, weakened to a wind speed of 55 to 85 kilometers per hour the previous evening. So it basically has weakened into a depression in the well-marked low-pressure areas as of the 6th local time.
Okay.
The remnant of the cyclone is likely to weaken into the low-pressure area in the next 12 hours. But it is predicted that it would also affect the northern coast of Andhra Pradesh, Telangana, and southern Odisha.
So it looks like those areas will have be somewhat affected by the weakening cyclone. I think that's good news, but this is very unfortunate for all the damage and the loss of lives that the cyclone has already caused. Thank you so much for that update. That will wrap it up for today's News Bites. You have yourself a good rest of your Wednesday night. We'll see you back here tomorrow, okay?
Okay, you have a good evening too.
Here we go with another song break. This is 뮤지 with 아무것도 아니야.
서로를 버려둔 채 지키지 못한 시간 너무 지쳐버린 나와 넌 말도 사라졌네 지금의 난 말야 몰랐던 사람 같아 나와 꿈을 그리던 얘기들 이제는 마지막 장인 걸까 더 이상 돌아갈 순 없겠지 예전처럼 너와 다른 웃을 수는 없겠지 우린 흔해 빠진 인연처럼 이별을 준비하면서 서로가 서로를 모른 척하고 있어 남남이 될 걸 알면서 시들지 못한 저 꽃처럼 yeah. 너와 난 그저 멈춰 서 있어 yeah. 사라지지 마 버리지만 마 너 없이는 나 아무것도 아니야 사라지지 마 버리지만 마 너 없이는 나 아무것도 한심한 표정으로만 날 바라보는 두 눈동자 그녀는 아름답지만 내게는 차가운 얼음 같아 이제는 너 말야 말도 걸 수 없을 것 같아 너와 행복했었던 예전들 다 거짓말 같아 더 이상 돌아갈 순 없겠지 예전처럼 너와 다른 웃을 수는 없겠지 우리 흔해 빠진 인형처럼 이별을 준비하면서 서로가 서로를 모른 척하고 있어 남남이 될 걸 알면서 시들지 못한 저 꽃처럼 yeah. 너와 난 그저 멈춰 서 있어 yeah. 사라지지 마 버리지만 마 너 없이는 나 아무것도 아니야 사라지지 마 버리지만 마 너 없이는 나 아무것도
Muji with 아무것도 아니야. I hopefully you enjoyed that track. The time is now 6:29 here in the studio. Welcome to hour number 1 of Inside Busan. I'm your host, Min-Soo Shin. Good evening to you all. Let me give you a quick update on the weather as well as the traffic. Busan City currently averaging 13 degrees. Tomorrow, expect a morning low of 5 degrees and an afternoon high of 13. So the weather is right now relatively mild for the month of December, like I've been saying for the past couple of days. However, fine dust will be raising its ugly head. Southwesterly winds have brought more dust into the country, boosting dust levels to bad. This is going to happen in the latter half of the day. So fine dust levels bad tomorrow morning and then going into the afternoon. So do keep that in mind. I see a lot of people wearing masks more these days, not only for catching a cold or whatever to prevent that. Just the air quality in general, not so great. And folks, it may feel a little chilly in the morning because of the wind. 사실 지금 센텀 쪽에도 생각보다 좀 춥습니다. 바람이 불거든요. 네, 오늘 미세먼지가 심했는데요. 내일 아침까지 미세먼지 농도가 나쁨 수준이겠습니다. 여러분, 단디 챙기세요. When it comes to the traffic, we have congestion on 중앙대로 from 중부 Police Station going towards Toryang Junction. And we also have congestion on 백양대로 from 당감 입구 3-way junction going towards 개금 주공 apartment junction. And then we have slow-moving traffic on Yunsan Tunnel from 해동동 going towards 부곡 interchange. Everybody, drive safe. 네, 안전운전 부탁드릴게요. All right, so some alarming news that I shared with our listeners to start off our show. Our country globally is, I want to say, pretty close, or if not last place. I know for sure South Korea is in last place or ranked last when it comes to our country's birth rate. So according to Statistics Korea, our country's birth rate in the third quarter of this year fell to a record low. This is the lowest we've gotten, 0.7. Now, this is down 0.1 from last year. So it seems like we're continuing to head down this path of decrease. Now, this is what's even more alarming. Our numbers right now, our rate, 0.7, this is only 1/3 of the replacement level required to sustain a nation's population. To have the birth rate at 2.1, that's the number or rate that's needed so that, when people move on, right, to the next life, still a good amount of newborns are coming in so that it levels up nation's population. But we are not even halfway. We're only 1/3 of that number. So what does this mean? A lot of these experts and research institutes are saying if we keep up with this rate, right, and even a continuous decline in our birth rate, our country's economic growth might drop below 0%. So that's in the minus by 2050. Can you imagine our country's, basically by the year 2050, we're not making any money. We're actually losing money by that time if our country's birth rate continues down this path. So, yeah, like I said, very alarming. And this is something that shouldn't be only alarming to governments and related organizations and officials, but to us, the citizens, right? So I'm not going to, get on my soapbox and tell people have bigger families and whatnot. No, that's completely up to you. That's completely your choice. But I do want to provide you with the current situation, let you know what's going on. And I also wanted to ask our listeners this. Do you have siblings? Or how big is your family, right? Do you have brothers and sisters? If so, what are the positive aspects of having brothers or sisters? This is something that I think, like I said, we're not only providing one side of the story. You could tell me like what's bad about having brothers or sisters too. 이거 형제들, 자매들끼리 많이 싸우고 막 그러잖아요. That's something that you could also point out. I want to provide both sides of the story when it comes to, listeners making a choice or having a mindset or an opinion about having a bigger family or not, right? We have a couple people saying hello over in our YouTube. Yena Shinnim saying, how about you, Minsu? How about me, what? What is the question that you're asking me? Yena, be clear on that, all right? Now, I could speak to Yena this way because... Actually, yeah, she's my family. I consider her a sibling. She is probably the youngest cousin on my dad's side. And I see her pretty often. She's from California. She lives all the way there, but over the past couple of months, she's been coming into Korea a lot. So she's pretty much like a direct sibling to me right now. So yeah. If I include Yena, direct siblings, so her, and I also have a younger brother, okay? And I'll tell you the positive and the negatives later, okay? We have 일요일 충주소님 saying good evening inside of Busan. Well, good evening to you, 충주소님. 반갑습니다. Long time no see, I think. It's been a while. We also have 배홍구님. Good evening, HK님. Oh, so how many siblings you have? Hey, that's what the question Yena is asking. So I have one younger brother. I will tell you the good and the bad a little later. All right, stay tuned because I don't know. I don't think he's tuning in right now. I could say a lot of bad too. No, but I'll also provide the good. Stay tuned for that. Let's get to today's IOB 5분 상식. Time for today's 5분 상식, getting you in the know. Some of the most trending, useful, need-to-know words and expressions. 5분만 들으면 유식해진 시간인데요. Look who we have here in the studio. Hello, Tegan.
Hello. Oh, there I am. I'm
there
on
you
the
go.
TV now, or on YouTube.
Yes. Tegan, you're going to help me out on today's 5분 상식. 네, 오늘은요. 최근 서점가의 품절 현상을 보이고 있는 벽돌책, brick book? 이거 대해 알아보도록 하겠습니다. Hey Tegan. 오늘은 운동하네. What on earth are you doing? What is that? 그 두꺼운 거 그거 벽돌이냐? Is that a brick?
It's a book, Minsu. 벽돌책, Reading and Certification Challenge, is totally in trend these days.
벽돌책? What's that? That thing looks more like a weapon, right? Something that you throw at somebody than a book.
It's not a brick, it's not a weapon, Minsu. It's a literary masterpiece. I promised myself I'd read it before the year ends.
Oh my gosh, that has to be like 1,000 pages. You're gonna read a 1,000-page book, Tegan? I'll believe it when I see it.
Challenge accepted. Let's read it together.
같이? This challenge is not as fun as I thought. Who knew reading a brick could be so exhausting? 너무 피곤해.
Yeah, but we can do it. Let's just conquer this literary beast together.
Tegan, I gotta tell you though, this is the coziest brick I've ever laid my head on.
Minsu, I told you. Oh, it's a book. But it's so comfortable.
See, yeah.
Like a pillow.
Yeah, see, now you know what I mean. So a pillow made of paper and ink. 30분만 자자. 둘 다 안 돼. See? Put a book in front of me or Tegan. We go right to sleep, all right?
We're done. We're done.
Tegan, I don't know if I share with you, like one of my resolutions for this year was
Okay.
reading more.
Oh, really? Actually, I'm in a book club. So for me, I'm very competitive. Like I always am doing like challenges. So
Yeah.
I realized for me, I have to be in a club. Like I have to have people holding me accountable.
Like you have to like people that have being like next to you, kind of like egging you on.
Well, we just meet once a month.
Mm-hmm.
And so for me, it motivates me every month. And I feel like, oh, I didn't live up to the challenge. So
Mm-hmm.
my advice for you guys, if you want to read more, be in a club or something to just don't do it by yourself because then you're going to be able to make excuses.
그래도 태견 책 읽긴 읽네요. 저보다 낫습니다. 저는 like I said, I'm still on the first page of the book that I was meaning to read.
Another tip, audiobook.
Oh,
Then it's reading it for you.
yeah. Would you count that as reading? I mean, some people do, right? If you're in it for the story.
Yeah.
So let's get to today's 오븐 상식도.
Yep.
Brick book, 벽돌책. 이게 대체 뭡니까?
All right. So what is a brick book? 벽돌책 is a term used for a book that's like similar to the size, the thickness of a brick. So it's as thick as a construction brick, around 6 centimeters. And so to basically summarize this for you guys, a brick book refers to a thick, heavy book with a thickness exceeding 6 centimeters and over 500 pages.
Oh, so over 500 pages is considered a brick book, a 벽돌책. Why is this such like a trendy or hot issue these days?
Okay, so the term gained popularity when a famous actress mentioned in a magazine interview that she was really impressed by this essay collection called The Book of Disquiet, Busan에서, and this is by a Portuguese poet named Fernando Pessoa, and I might be butchering that name, but I'm
I
doing
think
my
it's pretty
best.
close. 네.
Yeah, so this led to a surge in demand of thick books, and those especially with a thickness over 6 centimeters or over 500 pages. So the actress's recommendation caused an 800-page book that had been published in Korea 10 years ago to suddenly become a bestseller and have a sellout phenomenon.
Now, like, are people, like, are they even reading it or just buying it just because it's, like, thick, right? So those that read it, why would you want to read such a thick book?
So you can brag about it. No, there's also been a movement in libraries where they want readers to engage in this brick book reading campaign to get people to read and finish thick books, kind of to share their accomplishment. It draws people in with like gaining wealth of information and also feeling like they're, conquering a challenge. It gives them self-confidence. So it's not just for show. They're also gaining some intellectual satisfaction. So satisfaction. What did I say? What did I make up?
Satisfaction.
What is that word?
I don't think that's a word.
But it could be, So 벽돌책 is not just an ornament or a pillow anymore.
맞습니다. This is me watching too many cartoons. Whenever I see a thick book, I feel like that probably a person carved something into it.
And there's going to be a
It's
hiding spot?
Yeah, it's like a hiding spot for like, I don't know, like a flask or like money or like a weapon or something, right?
In our BEFM studio, we have a whole library of books.
Oh, yeah.
I've always wanted to go and like take one or look at one. There's there's a whole Harry Potter collection.
Yeah.
I've never seen anyone touch those books. Are we allowed to touch them?
I think so.
Can we borrow them?
You got to ask that.
I don't know. Anyways.
I'm not the authority on...
Listeners, what do you guys think about 벽돌책s? Do you guys read 벽돌책s?
Well, we have 최희수님 on our YouTube saying, book is like a sleeping pill. 희수님, no, not a sleeping pill. A pillow.
A pillow.
Okay. Yeah. Especially if like books have like leather covers, because leather you still get that little cushion feeling, right? So I think I could probably plop down, find a nice cozy corner in a library, find a 벽돌책, and then kind of use that as a pillow and knock out, catch a couple Z's.
Well, I just recommend you guys, if it's hard for you to actually read, start off with audiobooks and then you're listening and you can do things while you're listening, or use apps on your phone. And then that way, for me, I live in a small apartment, so I didn't want books taking up a lot of space. So kind of make it work for you. And then you can, for me, having the book on my phone, like you can download apps. There's apps where you can get like unlimited books per month.
Oh, yeah.
And so there's so many different ways that that you can, read books on your phone, listen to
맞아요.
audiobooks, make it work for you however you can.
Toki님 on our YouTube is saying, I almost fell asleep, probably listening to us snore.
Fair.
It's hard to read thick books. That's true. I don't think we're getting the good message across to our listeners. No, reading is good, but I guess the trend these days are people trying to read thick books or these 벽돌책들. Try not to fall asleep while reading.
Do whatever you want, in my opinion. Make it easy for
맞아요.
yourself.
네, 벽돌책 or brick book 이거는요 두께가 6cm가 넘는 500페이지 이상의 두꺼운 책을 말하는 겁니다. 오늘의 5분 상식이었습니다. 김대리 퇴근하나?
예, 부장님.
집이 교회종이지? 같은 방향인데 같이 가지? 요즘 회사 생활 어떤가?
예, 저 열심히 잘하고 있습니다.
결혼 생활도 재밌지?
예, 뭐 즐겁죠, 예. 저 라디오라도 좀.
그래 라디오.
네가 저번 주에 온 신참인 것 같네.
22번 훈련병.
진짜 회사 생활 쉽지 않다. 어색한 이 순간 인사이드 아웃 부산과 함께하세요. 오늘은
All right, folks, it's Wednesday. Time for a Busan close-up with the hardest working reporter here at BFM, Tegan Smith. How are you?
I'm doing good, and I think you guys are, it's already December.
Yeah.
Did you know that?
Well into December, actually.
Well,
What is this, the 6th day?
6. Oh my gosh, so there's only 19 days till Christmas?
On the 6th day of Christmas, my true love gave to me.
A bird in a tree or
Are
something?
you sure? I don't know the order at all.
I don't think it starts this far back. But
Nah.
yeah, countdown to Christmas is here and almost the new year. So
Mm-hmm.
that means, once again, it is time for the Haeundae Light Festival.
Yes, I think this is something that we've been driving home to our listeners.
Oh, really?
Like it seems like every other day, like with the weekend shows, because we want listeners to, citizens in general, or
Yeah.
even like people tuning in from outside the city, come to Busan, visit these light festivals because they're so pretty.
Ooh,
너무
yeah.
예뻐요.
They really, really are.
네.
And this is actually the 10th anniversary of the Haeundae Beach Chukje.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a cool thing. This year, it's bigger. They've expanded the area on the beach. This is called the Bake Sand Beach Media Zone.
네.
And so they've expanded this area. There's 4 themes for this year's Light Festival. Highlight, Sorry, I'm really having a tough time tonight.
You're just making up words today, right? What was the first one? Satisfactionism or something?
Yes. And now happyism. Okay, so let me try that again.
네.
Highlight, happiness,
네.
humanism, and hope. Can you say that?
Highlight happiness. Oh, okay. I see what happened there.
Yeah.
All right. So highlight happiness, humanism, and hope.
You got it. So those are the 4 areas for the actual Light Festival that's going to be held on Gunam Row
네.
as well as the beach. And so you guys can go check that out. And the Light Festival has already started, and it's going to be 62 days this year, going until January 31st.
Oh.
So you have quite a bit of time to check it out.
You do. I feel like it's a little shorter compared to last year, no? I feel like this went
Yeah.
into like a couple days into February before they closed it.
I'm not sure how long it went before, but they said they did shorten it slightly. But you still get to the end of January.
Yeah, I mean, you have plenty of time.
Yeah.
So from today, even if this is your first time hearing about the Haeundae Bichukje, the Light Festival, Haeundae Light Festival taking place, you have 62 days to
Yeah.
go. So no excuses.
Well, the days you've already missed a few of those, but you have some days.
Yeah.
You have until January 31st. So
네.
go and check that out.
네.
And first of all, I went down to the area by the beach, by Haeundae Beach, where there is the special Bake Sand Beach Media Zone. So let's take a listen as I go and check that out. I'm just walking down here to the Haeundae Light Show, or the Haeundae Light Festival, and right now there is a beautiful performance going on. The lights are changing. It is so cool. Take a listen to the music in the background as the waves are lapping and the sky is shooting stars. The lights are covering the beach, and then they also have a special LED screen displaying different light shows. It's so pretty.
Ooh, it sounds very magical, very, very cosmic, the background music that I just heard.
Yeah, but can I give my honest opinion?
Okay.
I think it was better last year. Because, okay, so what they did this year is they made sort of like an LED screen directly that's kind of, it's upright. Before they just had the lights on the beach and kind of the lights would do different performances, like making it look like waves, and they had no area where you could walk through the lights. This year they've put like little segments of lights on the beach where you can walk through it sort of in a maze format.
Oh.
And
That's what they did last year too, didn't they?
yeah, but they had also a big patch that was able to like look just like a stream of blue on the sand.
Okay, I remember that.
And that has been changed. So
I see.
to be honest, I like that better.
But I think you're describing the media zone, so where they have that huge screen.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's bigger this year, but they had something close to it last year. I almost called it an eyesore, but it's not. But what's the word? See, we're missing out on our words today. But something that catches your eye. There you go. I want to say
Eye-catching.
catcher. It's eye-catching. You can't not see it.
Yes.
If you're walking on the beach, and you can't help but to stand and look at like the colors and like the swirls and everything, the patterns that's created on the screen. So I think that's like a bit of a kind of like switch up, I think, for this year if they did make the media zone a little bigger.
The media zone, yeah, what you're talking about, the eye-catching LED screen is bigger and it's shaped differently.
Yeah.
Personally, I liked last year better, but you know, I like how they change it. It makes you want to go out every year and see
맞아요.
what's new.
네.
But I talked to some people to get their opinions, so let's hear what they had to say. Hello, hi guys. What's your name?
Scott.
What's your name?
Christine.
And where are you guys from?
Originally from Oregon.
Oh, actually, me too.
Yeah, we live here though.
Oh,
Yes.
wonderful. So we're at Haeundae Beach right now. Can you tell me, what do you think about the decorations at Haeundae right now?
I think it's beautiful. I think it's an amazing service that the city provides to people to get into the holiday spirit, and it's cheery and it's fun. I think it's really awesome.
Wonderful. And how would you compare this to the decorations maybe in Oregon?
A little different.
Okay.
A little different.
Is there anything like this in the United States?
You know, in America, and I'm from Texas, so in Texas they like to do things big. Yeah. It's a lot bigger in Texas, yeah. And in Portland. Okay. There's the zoo lights in Portland, which are amazing. So this is, but as far as, we've been living in Asia for the last 7 years. We've lived in Vietnam, Taiwan, and now here. And as far as Christmas decorations go, this is the best we've seen so far.
Wonderful.
So we're really excited and happy about it, because I don't think it's as common, you know, in this part of the world. So we're always appreciative when we do encounter some holiday cheeriness, and we like to take advantage of it.
All right, you guys. Well, thank you so much, and Merry Christmas.
Thank you. Merry Christmas to you too.
If you're especially from the U.S.,
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe it's just me. Like, the Christmas lights that you would normally see usually takes place like just within your neighborhood.
That's what I was going to say.
Yeah.
I was going to say that normally the decorations I saw were neighborhood decorations, like individual lights.
맞아요.
And so she was saying that like in Texas, they have these big light displays, and in Portland, maybe just because I never really lived downtown, I personally think that Busan does a better job of decorating than the USA cities. What do you think?
Same here. Maybe just, latte Maria, because we've just been here for so long. Maybe they've stepped it up when it comes to the Christmas lights game, over in the U.S. But from what I remember, it's like you said, individual homes, families setting up their Christmas decorations on their lawns and everything. You might go to like a shopping center, and then they might have Christmas decorations and like a Santa there. But that's like the gist of like public outdoor Christmas lights decorations that you would see.
Yeah, she was mentioning, I think like the zoo has a special light ceremony that they do, but I think you have to pay to go in. So I think, for Busan City doing this for free for the public, it's a great light festival that we have.
For sure.
Definitely loved it. And then I went and I went on Gunam-ro, where they also have a lot of lights and different activities for people to partake in. So let's talk to some people that I saw there. People, and we are on Gunam-ro. Hi, what's your name?
My name is Leah.
What's your name?
Shoji.
And where are you from?
I'm from Uzbekistan.
What about you?
The same. We came from Uzbekistan.
Okay, we are here now in Gunam Road. This is Haeundae Light Festival. What do you think about it?
I really enjoy it. This is first time I have been here, so we are having great time together.
And can you describe the decorations that you see?
They are so fancy and it seems so magic. And we just came into another world, like a merge. I don't know.
Oh, wonderful.
So yeah, so it's interesting, and we are having a good time with friends.
Oh, great. And in Uzbekistan, is there similar decorations like this or similar Christmas festivals?
Not that much, but yeah, a little bit.
A little
yeah.
bit. Okay. And do you guys have a Christmas wish or something for this year?
Yes, we wish, and we are gonna spread all love for all the people. For example, like Free Palestine.
Oh, okay, guys, let's say Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Okay, thanks, ladies. 수고하세요.
Aw, spread love to everybody. And
Yeah.
tis the season, right?
Tis the season.
Yeah.
And if you go to Gunam Road, they have different activity areas, different booths where you can partake in making some different activities, like making a diffuser. They have an area where you can, I think you have to pay a small fee to do that. And then they had an area where you can write down your wishes. That's for free. There were some kids writing down their wishes. I tried to see what they were saying. So maybe you guys can help me understand what they're saying. So let's take a listen. Hello, say hello. 안녕하세요.
Hello.
영어 할 수 있어? 영어? English? What's your name?
Sarah.
Sarah, you're writing your wish right now at Haeundae. 지금은 소원 쓰고 있어요? Yeah? What's your wish?
하트핑 피규어.
오, 지금 여기 재밌어요?
Yes.
Yes. 누구랑 왔어요?
마미. 우리 mom이랑 왔어요.
mom이랑 왔어요? Wow. All right. So have a good time and enjoy Haeundae. 수고했어요. Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
너무 귀엽다. So, what Diana, I think that was her name.
That was her little brother, though, that said his wish, actually.
Oh, okay. But I think...
So her name was Diana. I called her Sarah.
Yeah.
Okay. I couldn't understand her very well, but
너무
okay.
귀엽다. 근데 she wanted 하츄핑, which is like this little like character that comes from this animated series that my daughter just loves.
Oh.
Just loves. So, yeah, kids being kids, they want toys.
I knew you could
obviously.
translate it.
Yeah.
You're like Santa Claus. You can figure it out.
맞아요. But the Haeundae Lights Festival, it's something for the whole family, or even like visitors
sure.
from even outside the city, outside the country. They're all flocking to Haeundae just because, of course, the name, the renown that Haeundae has. But now you go and you have this big lights festival taking place. It's awesome.
Yeah. And so make sure you guys go on Gunam Road, go down to the beach. Also, there's lights around the market area. So make sure you check out all the lights and enjoy the festival up until January 31st. That's Haeundae Beach Chukje.
네, 감사합니다. Tegan, thank you so much for another great episode of Busan Close Up. We'll see you back here next week, okay?
See you then.
All right, listeners, that will do it for our number one of Inside Out Busan. To take us out, speaking of lights, this is Ellie Goulding with Lights. Enjoy. I'll see you back here at 7.
I had a heart then, but the queen has been overthrown, and I am not sleeping now. The dark is too hard to beat, and I'm not keeping now the strength I need to push me. You show the lights that stop me, turn to stone. You shine me when I'm alone, and so I tell myself that I'll be strong and dreaming when they're gone, 'cause they're calling, calling, calling me home, calling, calling, calling home. You show the lights that stop me, turn to stone. You shine me when I'm alone. Voices I play within my head, touch my own skin and hope that I'll still be there. And I think back to when my brother and my sister slept in an unloved place. The only feel safe. You show the lights that stop me, turn to stone. You shine me when I'm alone, and so I tell myself that I'll be strong and dreaming.
12월 넷플 모범 경성 크리처 그곳에 인간과 괴물이 있었다. 솔로지옥 시즌3 더 화끈해진 솔로 탈출 리얼리티 스위트홈 시즌2 3년 만에 귀환 모든 것이 진화했다. 요즘 넷플 모범 넷플릭스.
괜찮아 괜찮아 조금 불편해도 환경을 위해 너무 괜찮아. 일회용 컵 대신 머그컵 비닐봉지 대신 에코백 물티슈 대신 손수건 우리의 실천 하나하나 모여 세상을 바꿔요. 깨끗한 세상 플라스틱 제로 일회용품 제로 함께해서 참 좋은 우리의 시민
이 캠페인은 부산환경공단이 함께합니다.
안녕하세요. 영화배우 김민재입니다. 마약 시작하면 끝입니다.
너도 시작해볼래? 정말 끝내준대.
청춘 끝.
집중이 잘 안 돼? 이거 하나면 끝나.
미래 끝.
다이어트에도 정말 끝내준대.
건강 끝.
걱정할 필요 없어. 뒤끝 전혀 없어.
젊음 끝.
끝난다 끝나. 이제 우리 끝까지 가볼까?
인생 끝. 마약 당신은 이미 그 끝을 알고 있습니다. 마약 시작이 인생 끝입니다. 공익광고협의회.
The time is now 7 o'clock.
꼬리에 꼬리를 무는 품격 있는 토크. 시끄러워 죄송합니다.
Inside Out Busan.
Inside Out Busan.
인사이드 아웃 부산.
인사이더 부산.
인사이다 부산. 인사이다 부산.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the second hour of our show. This is Inside Out Busan, and I'm your host, Min-Soo Shin. 반갑습니다. 환영합니다. I do hope you're having a lovely evening. We have Joy님, Kim Joy님 on our YouTube saying Merry Christmas. Well, Merry Christmas to you. Obviously, our reporter Tegan in the first hour with her reporting on the Haeundae Light Festival, getting our listeners in the Christmas mood. Joy님, Merry Christmas to you. Well, I mean, we're counting down to Christmas, right? We have 토끼님 saying 저는 1살 여동생이 있어요. 아직도 보면 자주 싸워요. 싸우지만 이렇게 했는데 토끼님 저는 이 문자 보고 근데 돌 방금 지난 여동생이랑 싸운다고요? 아직 애기인데 애기들 아무것도 몰라요라고 생각했는데 바로 토끼님 다음에 1살 차이 나는 여동생님 1살 아니에요. Thank you so much for that clarification because I was gonna say 토끼님 1살이면 그래도 좀 봐줘야 되지 않을까 내 큰 언니로서 봐줘야 되는데 Thank you for that clarification. 맞아요. 1살 차이면 진짜 싸울 수밖에 없어요. 저랑 제 남동생 3살 차이인데 we're 3 years apart. Me and my younger brother. We fought all the time when we were kids. But these days, like because of that 3-year difference, it's nothing. He's pretty much like I wouldn't say he's the same person as me. Like we think the same though. Like we have very similar interests. That's what I'm very much enjoying now though, right? With my younger brother. But 1살 정도면 I'm sure those fights, hopefully they don't drag on for too long. But you guys must have so much fun if you're only a year apart. Thank you all. We'll get to more of your message later. Let's get to today's My Life, My English. Let's get to hear people's journeys into their English journeys.
Hello, everyone. This is IOB's weekly segment, My Life, My English. I'm Annie입니다. And we have this week's guest here in the studio. Hello.
Hello.
Hi. All right. Can you please tell us a bit about yourself?
Yes, hi, I'm Juyoung Lim, and you can call me Jenny. Currently residing in the Yonsan district, I've worked as an English instructor for several years. Recently, I've taken some time off to transition into a new career. I enjoy swimming, reading, and exploring different cultures, always eager to try new things. Thank you for having me.
Oh, that's great to hear. What new transition are you going into? What new career, I should say?
Well, I'm gonna transfer to nursing major. Yeah.
Oh, how fitting. Very nice.
Thank you.
All right, well, let's get into the question. So how did you get to know BEFM?
Well, I came across BEFM through my colleague, Annie. Intrigued by her recommendation, I started listening to some programs and found them both useful and interesting. So since then, BEFM has become my go-to during commutes and more.
Oh, that's great. And yes, Annie is me.
Yeah. It's her.
I'm really glad to have you here. So let's get to the juicy questions. Have you ever lived overseas? And do you have any fun stories from those times?
I spent a few years abroad, residing in China for about 2.5 years. I completed middle school there before moving to America as an exchange student for a year. This period exposed me to various cultural differences. Back then, my English skills were far from perfect. It was so poor.
No.
And it led to some amusing incidents, luckily. I vividly recall my first day of school when I misunderstood a documentary or bullying as being about the sports of bowling. So it was a fun moment. But despite the embarrassing moments like that, these experiences have become unforgettable and valuable memories.
Oh, wow. I didn't know you were such an international traveler. But yeah, no, I was listening. I was like, bullying and bowling.
It was hard to find out.
Pretty similar pronunciations. I can see that confusing. Well, very cool. Thank you for sharing that story. So your English is very conversational. Do you have any moments where you're proud to be able to speak English?
Well, I feel really proud, especially when it allows me to earn a living and pay my bills. Because it might sound practical, but I put a lot of effort to overcome my English skill, and it was significant challenge for me. And teaching English and working as an interpreter brings me a sense of pride and making me feel like I've truly succeeded.
Yeah, I really like that. That was a very realistic response.
Yeah.
Because it's true. So I'm also very thankful for that. Thank you for being honest. But would you like to share any tips for learning English with our listeners?
Oh, well, I've tried so many simple and basic ways, but I believe consistency, of course, is the key in learning English, I believe. It's like exercising. You have to do it every day. You have to go to the gym in order to get the
hardest
muscle.
part.
Yeah. So memorizing vocabulary, practicing, listening, it's so simple, but you have to put effort every day. No one else can do it for you.
Right.
So that's the mindset I try to have when I learn English. And additionally, I find useful materials related to my interests. For example, I mentioned that I love swimming and reading, so I try to find some materials related to this topic. It makes my English skill improving while keeping the learning experience enjoyable and memorable.
Well, I like that. Consistency is key. It's also one of the hardest things to do.
Yeah.
But I
always
can see.
fail.
It makes a lot of sense. You have to keep doing it. You have to make sure 몸에 배기도록, right?
That's right.
So, great tip. Just keep at it, everyone. That is the best tip we can give you.
Yeah.
All right. Well, it's already time to wrap up, but would you like to share any of your future aspirations or goals for your life and for your English?
Oh, well, actually, it was a tough question. It was a huge one. But looking ahead, I want to build my own family in the future. And another dream of mine is to spend time abroad as a volunteer. And currently, I'm in the process of discovering myself. I don't really know what to do in the future sometimes, but I'm pretty sure I'm going to find it soon. So I'm eager to try new things like traveling or learning new languages or meeting more people. This radio is also another opportunity to find myself.
Right.
And then in terms of English, I recognize there's still so much to learn. So I committed to consistently, as I mentioned before, improving so that one day I can comfortably deliver a 20-minute speech in front of others, maybe. Never know.
I think you can already do that.
Oh, really?
To be honest. But hey, I really like that you're still discovering yourself. I think a lot of us are still discovering ourselves. And it's really relatable. I really enjoyed our talk today. So thank you for coming into the studio.
Oh, thank you for inviting me.
All right. Well, I'll see you around for sure.
Yeah. Thank you.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.
And that was today's My Life, My English. Our reporter, Annie, good to hear her voice again, right? Speaking with today's special guest, Jenny, who also goes by the name Im Ju-young. She, of course, just sharing with us a little bit about her background. She spent a few years abroad, spent some time in China, and then moved to America as an exchange student. And this is the time she mentioned, not only did it help when it came to her, improving and developing her English abilities, but also being exposed to various cultural differences. I think that's probably the most important thing that Jenny continues to take with her today. I think it's these experiences that opens you up, opens up your eyes, as well as opens up your mind to just what's out there in the world. That's the kind of experience that, I hope that a lot of people don't take for granted, because there's so many people here that only read about it, that only are able to watch it, on YouTube and whatever, but you yourself got to really experience it, be in the thick of it, in the middle of it. And that really broadens your horizons, as they say. And that opens you up to taking on more things. I'm sure that even helped you want to learn English, want to improve your English abilities even more. But with the work that she does right now, she did keep it real. She mentioned she's very grateful that she got to be exposed and is currently continues to learn English, especially when it comes to her job, because it allows her to basically earn a living and pay her bills. Thank you for reminding me. I think, I take being able to speak in English for granted a lot. With the work that I do, teaching as well as working here at BEFM, if it wasn't for my English, they probably wouldn't even have hired me, right? To come. No, I'm sure they probably saw my charisma. My Riz? Oh, there you go. We learned that this was the word of the year yesterday, right? 오늘 썼습니다. 작가님, 저 숙제했어요. So they probably would have hired me, on my Riz / charisma, my humor. This is what I think. 제 생각인데요. But thank you for keeping it real, okay, Jenny-님. You also share with us some tips when it comes to learning English consistently. Consistency is the key. Learning English consistently, like exercising, like working out, right? You continue to work out. That's how you build muscles. That's how you get healthier. Well, if you continue to memorize vocabulary and you put in the personal effort, because nobody else is going to do it besides yourself. So good stuff. Best of luck to you and your future endeavors. Jenny-님, you mentioned you want to have your own family. I think that's a great thing. Today we're talking about the lack of families these days, or the lack of people wanting to have families. So doing your part in trying to get those numbers up in terms of our birth rate, 감사합니다. And you also mentioned, get to the point with your English, so much so that you could do a 20-minute presentation in front of people. Now, that's not an easy thing to do. 저도 사실 잘 못할 것 같아요. Like with my English right now. So Jenny-님, let me know how that goes. I mean, if you're able to do that, you probably, have more confidence, more courage in your English than even a lot of native speakers like me, right? So Jenny, best of luck to you with all that. Thank you so much to our reporter, Annie. That will do it for today's My Life, My English. Let's take a quick song break. This is 적재 and 권진아 with 빛나는 당신을 위해.
그대 움츠리지 말아요. 누구보다 강한 사람이잖아요. 끝이라 생각될 땐 어깨 펴고 다시 해보는 거야.
아무도 그댈 몰라주는 순간에도 빛나고 있어요. 우리 기뻐도 돼요. 마음이 힘들 때 혼자만 기쁘면 너 속에 있을 때 잊지 말아요. 아름다워요. 난 그대여 힘안 놓지 마요. 여전히 빛나는 당신을 위해. 약하다 말하지 말아요. 누구보다 강한 사람이잖아요. 가끔은 멈춰도 돼요. 지금처럼 한 걸음씩. 아무도 그댈 칭찬하지 않을 때도 빛나고 있어요. 우리 기뻐도 돼요. 마음이 힘들 때 혼자만 기쁘면 너 속에 있을 때 잊지 말아요. 아름다워요. 난 그대여 힘안 놓지 마요. 여전히 빛나는 당신을 위해. 그댄 멋진 사람이야. 지금도 이렇게 빛이 나잖아요. 기쁨을 다시 찾아봐요. 다시 일어나는 거야. 그댄 멋진 사람이야. 지금도 이렇게 빛이 나잖아요. 기쁨을 다시 찾아봐요. 다시 일어나는 거야. 소중한 그대여 오늘도 수고했어요. 내게 말해줘요. 당신의 하루를 아름다워요. 우리 다시 꿈을 함께 꿔봐요. 여전히 빛나는 당신을 위해.
적재 and 권진아 with 빛나는 당신을 위해, dedicated to all of you, right? 빛나는 당신을 위해. The time is now 6:15. Moving on to the 16-minute mark. Welcome to the program. This is Inside Out Busan, second hour of our show. My name is Min-Soo Shin. 반갑습니다. 환영합니다. Let's see what the weather is shaping up to be, as well as the traffic. Currently 13 degrees, so not much has changed with from the first hour. Tomorrow, though, morning low of 5 and afternoon highs of 13. So today's precipitation. Yeah, because coming into the studio, I couldn't tell if it was dust or if it was like the rain clouds picking up. But precipitation will bring a slight chill tomorrow morning. So it's like kind of like the gloomy weather / fog, it seems like. Because, you get fog sometimes during winter. But it won't be too bad tomorrow. Now, the concentration of fine dust, though, in most parts of Busan will increase tomorrow morning. The fine dust, very harmful, obviously, to our respiratory health. So please make sure to wear your masks. Is this when, I think for the fine dust, right, the 94 number on the masks is recommended. I might be wrong, though. I think that's like the highest it goes. Because, you want to do your best to block out all the fine dust going in. 내일 아침까지 부산에도 미세먼지가 심하겠습니다. 마스크를 꼭꼭꼭 챙겨주세요. On to our traffic, we have congestion on the Name Express from former 서부산 tollgate going towards 낙동대교. There's also congestion on 충렬대로 from Minam Junction going towards Naesung Junction. And then we have slow-moving traffic on 낙동남로 from Seongsan 3-way junction going towards 강서 Police Station. Everybody, drive safe. 부탁드리겠습니다. So today, the theme of our show is our country's birth rate, because it's not looking so good. 0.7 we've recorded in the third quarter of this year, and that is a record low of our country. So experts are saying, if you want to see a balance in the population, right, the amount of people, going on to the next life compared to the number of people coming into this world, you want that number, that birth rate, to be around 2, right? But our country of 0.7, we're only a third of that number. So experts are saying by the year 2050, it might get to a point where our country's, economic profit or economic power strength might be in the negative. Negative means we're losing money, okay? So alarming news I want to bring you, but I'm not going to get to, I'm not going to go towards, then of course everybody needs to have bigger families. No, I think that's still completely up to you. That's your choice. Why not provide both sides of the story to maybe paint a better picture for our listeners if you're still on the fence? Do I want a family? Do I not want a family? So I asked you, do you have brothers and sisters? And if you do, what are some good and the bads about having siblings? Older siblings, younger siblings, twins even, right? But the couple people that have shared their, sibling stories, it doesn't paint the best picture of, just having siblings. We had Tokinim mentioning that she fights with her 1-year-old sister. No, but that was a typo. She meant to say a younger sister that's only a year apart from her. 1살 차이, not 1살 여동생, 1살 차이 나는 여동생. We also have Joy님 saying, I have an older sister who I often fight with when I was young. 맞아요. When you're young and you have siblings, 싸우는 거는 피할 수가 없어요. Yeah, it's unavoidable. It's inevitable, all right? That's your word for the day. Inevitable to fight with, older sister, younger sister, brother, right? Sibling, it doesn't matter. You fight when you're kids. Now, the fighting that continues to, when you're adults, then maybe there are aspects of your childhood both of you seem like you can't let go of. But usually the case is you grow up, if you fight a lot too, you become that much closer. I fought a lot with my brother. I fought with my brother a good amount, I think. But, now that we're both adults, those days are behind us. And I guess we enjoy each other's company more. He lives in Seoul, so I don't get to see him a lot. But the number of times that, we talk either on the phone or we chat, we have very similar interests, especially when it comes to video games. Now, the good I can share about having just a brother, I have a younger brother, but this, I think, can pertain to people that have older brother or older siblings in general. Hand-me-downs. If you don't know what hand-me-down means, usually it's from an older sibling to a younger sibling. Hand-me-downs are basically what the older sibling has in terms of clothes, things, possessions, right? And they give it to the younger sibling so they could use it. So that, some people don't usually agree with I grew up on hand-me-downs. I never got anything new. That probably was a case, I think, for my younger brother when we were younger. But now that we're both adults, right? Hand-me-down works both ways. Things that I have that, maybe are of no use to me anymore, I always ask him, do you want this? And vice versa, he does the same, right? So as a younger brother, he could give me hand-me-downs because maybe there are things that I want/need and he has/doesn't need. And then, it benefits both sides, right? So that's one good thing, having same interests amongst siblings. And then you guys kind of get to share possessions, things, and whatnot. Let's ask Casey, who is here in the studio already. Hi, Casey.
What's up, Minsu?
Hey, I always do this to you. And yet I know you're always ready for it.
Oh,
do you have siblings?
I do. I've got a younger brother.
Nice.
5 years apart.
5 years apart.
Yeah.
Okay, I have a younger brother who 3 years apart. I think that 3 to 5 range doesn't make that quite big a difference. What would you say is a positive or even a negative about having a younger brother?
Are there positives? Oh.
I can see you have not let go of some things that you guys need to work out.
We fight so easily. It's amazing. Like even now,
Really?
as adults, if we just, I don't know, we know how to push each other's buttons. So somebody will make a comment, either him or I. We'll say something, and then the other person's response will be like the most cutting thing possible.
Ooh,
you know what I mean?
It cuts deep.
Yes.
And you're bleeding.
Oh
right?
yeah. Oh yeah.
Well, figuratively.
Right. No, we actually never got
hurts.
into knife fights. No knife fights. But
Please don't.
verbal arguments. We're
Nah.
very good at like knowing the exact thing to say to make each other
I mean, because
angry.
this is somebody that you like would spend 24 hours a day with, right? Until one of you moves out.
Right.
But spending so much time together, they know the ins and outs of you and vice versa, right?
Yep.
You're the same.
For sure.
But there has to be a positive, right?
I'll think about it. I'll think about it.
그 정도예요.
No, I kid.
Here we are
I love my
talking
brother.
about our nation's birth rate being a record low 0.7 and Casey not helping at all to show the good side of having siblings. No, but if you want to share.
It's you mentioned similar interests, having similar interests with your brother. You like even though you might turn it into an argument very quickly, there are like things like just like the same kind of movies and same kind of music that we both enjoy. Yeah, and we can just talk about that. You know, we can nerd out on that stuff, and anybody else would be like, oh, "Who cares?"
Yeah.
So yeah.
And you brought up a really good point. Nerding out. This is only something that you could do like with your closest of friends / siblings. Right. And nobody will judge.
They don't judge, right? But they do know how to say something negative about something that you like.
Oh, yeah.
Because they know.
Because they know how to push your buttons, right?
Yes.
Like even with my wife, I don't know about you. Like I can't nerd out in front of my wife. She goes, ugh.
Yeah, my wife hates it. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So that's something that you can only, maybe that connection you could only share with siblings.
Right. It's tough to find a replacement for siblings when it comes to like things that you both like mutually enjoy because you did grow up together, right? And you were around the same things. And you could talk about it without having to give any background. You could just jump right into it, you know? You don't have to explain yourselves.
맞습니다. Nice. We have Hisu님 on our Kakao Talk saying, we might ruin our nation if we don't have children.
Oh.
I mean, it looks like that's like the direction that our country is heading into right now with our birth rate and everything. So Hisu님 kind of stating a fact. I mean, she says it might happen. It might not too, right? We'll see what our country works out as well as, you know, our society.
Yeah.
But she shared with us a little bit about her family situation. She mentioned she has 2 sisters and they share money when it comes to their mom's living cost. So that is a good thing. I think, when
taking
it comes
care of
to
mom
siblings,
together.
Taking care of mom, right? Together.
Instead
if,
of
let's
just
say,
one person.
Yeah, if you're like a single child and, you know, what is it called? Filial duties?
Filial duty?
Filial duties. There we go.
I never get to use that word.
Yeah. And, you know, of taking care of your parents.
Right.
If you're an only kid, then it might be a little difficult.
Right.
But let's say you have a sibling or 2 or 3 or 4, right? That, you know, I don't want to call it a burden, but that duty or that responsibility.
It's not easy.
Yeah. Some people might want to take on. You spread that out amongst your siblings, and it makes it that much easier.
Yeah, for sure. I think that's a big benefit of having siblings. Just kind of like anything when it comes to family, just knowing whose birthday it is, you know, knowing which, you know, things like that. If you have to do it by yourself, it's tough.
Oh, yeah.
It's tough to keep up.
Exactly. Thank you so much, Hisunim. Thank you so much, Casey, for sharing. And thank you to everybody that shared with us today. Thank you for all your participation. Let's get to today's Worldwide Whatevers.
Worldwide.
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 Worldwide. Whatever. Whatever.
Worldwide. Whatever.
Time for Worldwide Whatevers, and we have Casey continue to be with us here in the studio. How are we doing today?
Good. There's this like touchpad right here, and I can't stop playing with it.
That was always there.
Sometimes it's not here. So if it's close to me, I'm like,
oh,
yes.
You know what? I think it's our engineers. And then
move it away.
they go, oh, that's right, Casey's coming in today, right? Gotta
Yeah, right.
take this away from him.
I think they know.
Yeah.
I get distracted.
How are we doing, sir?
I'm very good. Yeah, I'm happy to be here. I'm a little worried that it's already December. I don't know about you, but
Yeah,
what happened?
we're well into it. That's what I'm saying, right? Because it's so cliche, I don't want to say it, but I feel it and I realize it. Time flies.
It's true.
Yeah.
When you're having fun, I've heard as well.
Oh, but I wouldn't call it fun. What I've been experiencing these past couple days.
Oh,
I mean,
what's
these
happening?
past couple weeks. I mean, with the cough and the sickness that I got, that
That's right.
cold. I think just because I've been so focused on that, but plus doing work while being sick.
Right.
It's tough, and it also makes time go by fast, which I don't like. Give me, all the days that I missed.
Right.
That I
time
could
was
spend it-
taken.
Exactly, but yeah, that's how I'm feeling these days. So I'm not like the best of moods, but still glad that I'm a bit on the healthier side now, and still get to enjoy what's left of December.
Yeah, because it'll be gone quickly. So it started me thinking about, oh no, do we have to start thinking about New Year's resolutions and changes and all that? I guess.
I'm still on, and I'm still like, hating myself for the fact that I have not worked on this year's resolutions. Now I got to think of
Right.
next year's resolutions.
I guess, well, have there been any kind of changes that you did want to make this year that you kind of didn't get around to?
Well, I did tell myself I should read more.
Okay.
Just for the sake of reading.
I'm going to tell you why that's good for you too.
I heard that it does help intellectually.
It does.
Even, but that's something I've taken on. I'm probably going to have to spew that over to next year too.
That's okay. You just delayed it by a year.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so reading would be good for you. Have you ever thought about changing your sleeping habits?
No, actually. I mean, as
You
a
sleep
New
enough?
Year's resolution,
Yeah.
I no, I don't. But I don't know. It feels like I do. I'm hovering around that like 6 hour.
Oh, that's not
mark.
enough, man. I mean,
they say 6 to 8 hours
Right.
depending on the person, but I
Sure.
feel like 6 hours for a person like me isn't enough. It's enough to get by,
Yeah.
but isn't enough for like, I would say, my health.
I think maybe you're onto something there. I think 6 hours for anybody. I mean, some people can do it and be fine, but me too. If I miss like a day of sleep, if I stay up way too late or something, I get sick like almost immediately. Like so sleep is really something that affects your life. So there's something called the Sleep Charity, which is exactly what it sounds like. It's a charity that tries to help people improve their sleeping habits.
Oh, because when you say sleep charity, it's like people.
Yeah, they're not giving out sleep.
No,
it's not like that.
Donating their time to
No.
go to sleep.
I
I was like, who does that help?
I would sign up for that. If that's how it worked, I'd be like, yeah, I'll work.
For sure. But it's an organization that works to help people sleep better.
That's right.
Okay,
Because it's a big issue.
That makes more sense, and it is, a very
Yeah.
important part of our lives.
That's right. So what they have done, they have released their top 5 tips for getting better quality sleep in 2024 because a lot of people are already starting to think about that. What do I want to improve next year?
Yeah, I mean, like we spend a third of our lives sleeping.
Oh, really?
Is that the number?
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, I think it's a third of our lives sleeping. So that's how important it is.
Right.
I think you would go, oh man, a third of my life I spend like just knocked out in bed. I got to do other stuff. No, but that third is so important for the rest of the 2/3.
Right.
Right.
I just did the math. Out of 24 hours, that would be 8 hours of sleep.
There you go.
Math paid off finally.
High five, Casey.
All right.
But we're not here to do math.
No, thankfully, because that's the best I can do.
Yeah.
So instead, I've got something much simpler that you can do to improve your sleeping habits for 2024, starting tonight, if you want to give it a try.
Oh, okay. What is it?
Have a banana.
What?
Yes, have a banana. Eat a banana shortly before bed, like not right before you pass out, I'm sure, but shortly before bed. That could be the key to a good night's sleep, according to the Sleep Charity.
Interesting.
Have you ever heard this before?
No.
Okay, cool.
This is my first time.
All right, cool. Because I've actually heard this mentioned before, but I thought it was kind of like one of those like folklore, like folk medicine kind of things that my grandma would say.
Like like a quack
Yes,
doctor.
a quack
like
doc-
on home shopping. What do you call that? Like people try to sell you stuff on TV.
Buy this pillow. And then, yeah, exactly. There's a lot of quacks out there.
But even the Sleep Charity is onto this.
Yes, and there's science behind it because bananas have high levels of both magnesium and potassium, which help to relax your muscles. Another thing, bananas contain tryptophan. You might have heard of that from turkey as well, the turkey, the animal. If you eat turkey, it has a lot of tryptophan in it, and that stimulates production of some brain-calming hormones, including, have you heard this before? About eating turkey?
Yeah, because a lot of people, the first time I've heard of things like, what do you call it? Food coma. Is I've heard it after like a Thanksgiving.
There's a reason they picked turkey for that day.
Yeah.
It's not what the legend says. It's just everybody wants to knock themselves out. So basically what tryptophan does, it helps you produce melatonin, which is something your body naturally produces in response to being in a dark place. If you're in a dark place, your body's like, oh, time to go to sleep. So it starts making this melatonin. But if you eat fruit like bananas, that also encourages the production of melatonin, which can improve your sleep.
Okay.
So do you eat bananas?
Not regularly.
Uh-oh. Yeah, I might have to add it.
I mean, if I like remember, oh, that's right, we need bananas. We usually put it at, like in our shakes.
There you go. That'll work.
Yeah. But so I usually have it in the morning. Are we supposed to eat it like at night then?
Yeah, that's the idea, to have it at night. So, but actually milk has been mentioned. That's another thing I thought was always like folklore, like drink milk, especially warm milk before you go to bed.
And
it's true.
Yeah, really?
It's on the list.
I always saw it on cartoons and like, movies from a long time ago. I was like, do people actually have a warm glass of milk before they go to sleep?
I've tried it. It had no observable effect in my experience, but what would I know?
Like when you were a kid or like as an adult?
I tried it sometimes when I was a kid. Yeah, as an adult, not so much. Too lazy to do it. Because you gotta get that skin. You want to keep stirring the milk
that's
so they
right.
get that wacky skin on
if
it.
you boil milk, you get that cheese on top.
Right. Yeah. So I am too lazy for that, but it might be worth a shot.
So,
and,
so this is good for people. Let's say that might like bananas.
Right.
But I know people that they try to stay away from it as much as they can. What about for those people then?
Okay, so it's if you're like, oh no, I can't eat bananas. Okay, another kinds of fruit that are the best sources of melatonin, according to a recent study, are grapes, tart cherries, and strawberries. And I think at least one of those, everybody should like at least one.
Who can say no to? I was gonna say, who can say no to strawberries?
Somebody can, I'm sure. But
my college roommate, he has this allergy.
Oh, there you go.
To like red fruits. It's
anything
a chemical.
Colored red?
It's a chemical that makes a fruit red.
Right.
And I guess you find it in a bunch of fruits. It makes his lips swell up like crazy.
Ouch.
And I've seen it myself. I was like, oh man, you should not eat strawberries ever again. But he loves fruit so much, he takes medicine just to eat fruits.
Well, I guess it might be worth it in that case if it helps you sleep as well. I mean, maybe if your lips are swollen while you're sleeping, it doesn't matter. Nobody can see, I guess.
I guess but lips aren't the only thing because lips and then it kind of spreads. If it's like goes down like his throat, if your throat's swollen, then it's a problem.
For sure. Okay, maybe carefully consider what fruits. Well, okay, so maybe fruit's not the way to go. All right.
Okay.
So for your friend, how about almonds? Is he allergic to almonds?
I don't think so.
There you go. Almonds are also recommended by the Sleep Charity. Fish. Whole grain cereals, something called oat cakes with cheese, which sounds very British to me. I don't even know what they're talking about.
I've had oat cakes before.
Oh, have you?
Because oat cakes are
what is it?
Oat, like cookies, no?
Maybe.
And I forgot what the name of it was. Moon over? No. Something.
Moon over my hammy?
Like wait,
I know that restaurant.
That's a sandwich. Moon pies? No, that's not what it was. But they, like, what I would buy at, like, the convenience store back in the States, and I would read it, it would have this name, and it would say oat cake. Right? But it'd be just basically kind of like this crunchy oat cookie, and they have, like, marshmallow in the middle.
Oh,
so,
nice.
like, their
That's
version
American.
of, like, a choco pie.
Yeah, right,
like what
right,
we
right.
have here.
Oh, I know exactly what you're talking about. Did they have raisins or chocolate chips in them?
I think so, yeah.
I can picture it in my mind. Yes, I recall.
But then with cheese, you mentioned.
They said oat cakes. That sounds completely British to me. By the way, the news source is Sky News, which is a British news organization.
Okay.
So they also mentioned Marmite, which do you know what that is?
That's very Australian.
No, that's Vegemite.
Oh, okay.
Marmite's British, and it's basically beer brewery byproduct of yeast. So,
isn't that what Vegemite is then?
Vegemite is, I'm assuming, a little different, but I don't know. Those two things, Marmite and Vegemite, I hear those, I'm like, all right, see you guys later. I don't know.
Oh, excuse me. I had.
You need some Marmite.
I had a classmate who ate that every day. Being from Australia, he
Vegemite?
had, like a Vegemite sandwich.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, I've heard that in the song.
Nah.
Yeah, I've heard that.
Anyway, we digress. Nah.
Yeah, so anyway, there's a whole list of foods that the Sleep Charity does recommend. It's not just bananas, but bananas are like one of the best for you, or one of the easiest to help you sleep. But they do say, whatever you do, don't eat a lot before bed because it can lead to discomfort, indigestion.
Yeah.
I did see another study that said, like, if you have too much melatonin, it can maybe cause bad dreams.
Really?
Yeah. But they say it's not easy to get too much melatonin unless you're like already taking supplements or something. So yeah, but they did say also like try to avoid spicy food before bed, and I was like, no problem, I do. But my wife, on the other hand, I was thinking she kind of eats spicy food late at night. Is that something kind of common in Korea? Do you think?
I mean, we usually like spicy food, and I know a lot of people that recently did their kimjang. I had like fresh kimchi last night too.
Late night.
Yeah, and it was pretty late. It was like past like 9. That's pretty late for me.
Yeah.
But it was like okay. It was pretty doable. But there are some days where that spiciness does kind of come up.
Yeah.
Especially while I'm sleeping.
Yeah, it literally comes up sometimes.
So yeah, no bueno.
No, you don't want that. Some other things they said to avoid, which also a lot of is a big part of the Korean diet, is rice. So like high carb foods like bread, pasta, and rice, they kind of stimulate acid production, which would make you stay up longer. So I was kind of surprised by that. I always thought like bread, pasta, rice were kind of like mellow foods, you know what I mean? Like comfort foods, but I had no scientific basis for thinking that.
I mean, we are a country that, you know, keep going into late night. You know, everything's open, super late.
1차, 2차.
So exactly, right? So this might be maybe, you know, not the easiest thing to do for people here in Korea, but you did bring up a very interesting thing that maybe we can all keep in mind. Eating a banana before we go to bed could increase the melatonin levels, which could help us relax in general.
That's right.
Nice. So that's according to the Sleep Charity. Thank you so much for that. Casey, we have time for maybe a little bit of time for our second bit of news.
All right, I'm going to get into this one because as I came in the studio, I was kind of scratching an itch. And I told you I didn't want to be on camera. Fortunately, thank you for turning the cameras off. And I
did it for you.
Well, I was just scratching on the edge of my nose. But if people saw me doing that on camera, it's the danger zone, right?
Yeah,
it's like people would be like, "Oh, he's picking his nose on camera."
Yeah, there's so many times where, you know, people misinterpret what I'm doing around my nose. I'm like scratching it. I'm like not like, you know, going into like my nostrils. I'm like,
right.
Why are you picking your nose? That's so gross. No.
It's not a pick.
Yeah, it's not a pick. I'm scratching the outside. Right? But we do it more often these days, especially during winter.
Right. And, you know, we kind of like just assume that's part of being, you know, dry, the dry conditions. The weather is drier, the air is drier, right? However, scientists at Harvard Medical School have finally identified what causes people to itch, and it's bacteria.
Really?
Yes. It is a common bacteria.
I always thought it was because maybe our face or our skin is dry.
Right.
That's why we itch. But it's because of bacteria?
This is what they identified. And it's basically a really common skin bacterium. And I think, you know, some people have more sensitive skin than others. So they might react a little bit more severely to this bacterium. And then in perhaps drier conditions, this bacteria, your skin is already sensitive and more irritated easily, and then this bacteria triggers one of these, a protein called PAR1, which sounds like a golf term, but it's not.
It's very sciencey.
It's
par one.
Par one.
So that's basically a hole in one.
Yes,
you got to get it. Or
it's a very good golf game, or it's a terrible bacteria. Actually, it's a protein. Sorry. So this basically what this bacterium does, and they did this by studying mice first. They found this bacterium kind of just triggers this protein, which sends signals to your brain like pain, heat, or itchiness. And they found that when there's this bacteria that secretes this kind of enzyme called V8, which sounds like a delicious, healthy drink, but is not.
Ooh, not delicious for me. I know it's healthy, but it wasn't delicious.
I loved it. I loved it. Not plugging, but basically, when the protein was activated by this enzyme in this bacteria, the mice were not only just itchy, but they were also really hypersensitive to even like a light touch. So anything made them itchier than usual.
Okay. Interesting. So you might be thinking, oh, my skin's too dry. Maybe it's allergy. I mean, it could be allergies.
And yeah, some people do have conditions like eczema, which makes skin itchier than normal.
Yeah.
Right.
But for, let's say, most people,
right,
it's because of this protein/bacteria.
Right.
Can we do anything then to prevent this? Because I feel like this is something that we don't want.
Well, yeah, and nobody likes itching, and
Yeah.
especially if you do have like permanent skin conditions where you're always feeling itchy, it must be terrifying and also annoying and painful, I would imagine at some point. So the good news is this PAR1 we'll call it, this protein is also involved in blood clotting. And so the researchers, when they discovered that, they're like, okay, well, there's already an approved anti-clotting drug, so let's try this on it, and it worked. And this worked apparently not just in mice, but they did experiment with human neurons as well. And they said for the mice in particular, there was rapid improvement when they used this the anti-clotting drug. It both prevented the itching and any kind of skin damage as well. So researchers are thinking they could use this to make new kind of creams as anti-itch medications for people.
Okay, because I was going to ask, are they going to make this medicine something that's consumable, like you got to take a pill for it? But I would rather have it if it's an itch,
right?
Like like you would apply cream to it,
That's
or
the
some
idea.
kind of lotion. I feel like that is like mentally, that's something that makes sense to get over an itch. Like
Right.
apply something on it.
I'm with you. The less pills, the better.
Yeah.
Right. I would totally if it's like something on my skin, I would rather treat that part that I can see than, I don't like taking medication.
Interesting. So very sciencey today for today's Worldwide Whatevers, right?
See
With
there?
the first story, eating banana before
There you
you
go.
sleep will help you sleep better.
That's right.
And the itch that you might have, it's not because you didn't wash. It's not because, you have bugs crawling here and there.
Well, the bacteria, I mean...
I guess if you consider a bacteria bug,
Microscopic.
it could be. Yeah.
Right.
But it's this bacteria/protein that seems to be, just doing stuff. That's what's making you itch.
That's right.
Yeah. Science.
The more you know.
The more you know, indeed.
Right.
Casey, that will wrap it up for today's Worldwide Whatevers. Thank you so much. I feel so much smarter today.
Well, I did want to mention really quick that you mentioned reading really quick.
Oh,
so
yeah.
That's another thing the sleep charity recommends. Try something like reading before bedtime, and then boop, that'll help put you out too.
See, but I want to read to benefit myself, not put myself to sleep.
Right.
But I will consider that. We'll keep that in mind.
Just think about it.
Right? If I'm burning the midnight oil, why not pick up a book?
Yes, it works for me. It does work for me. Unless it's like a really good book, then I don't sleep.
Oh, see, that's the thing.
Yeah, right. I keep reading.
Find a boring book, says Casey.
Exactly.
All right, Casey, we'll see you back here next week, okay?
See you next week.
Let's take a quick song break. This is Kenny Loggins with Danger Zone.
Begging you to touch and go. Highway to the danger zone. Riding through the danger zone. Heading into twilight, spreading out her wings tonight. She got you jumping off the deck, shoving into overdrive.
푸짐한 선물을 원하십니까? 인사이드 부산이 준비한 소중한 선물. Full course meal voucher from Golden Lizzie, a gourmet restaurant in 거제동 and 연산동, where you can taste cuisine from Michelin Guide featured Chef Kim. 미슐랭 셰프의 파인 레스토랑 골든 리지에서 10만 원 외식 상품권. 런지 10세트. A place to entertain your brain and eyes. Museum of Illusions. 당신의 눈과 뇌를 즐겁게 하는 곳. 뮤지엄 오브 일루전 부산 착시미술관 입장권. 회원님 끝까지 집중하셔야 돼요. 언제나 마시는 커피를 신선하게 만드는 양산에 위치한 Into Roastery. Coffee voucher and a pack. A fresh coffee whole beans. Sponsored by Into Roastery in 양산. 운동 중인데 향이 좋네요. 자, 회원님 다음 암풀다운 핫돌. A delicious meal voucher from Gorilla Brewing Busan, 광안 branch, the leader of Korean handmade beer culture. 자, 수제 맥주 전문점 고릴라 브루잉 부산에서 제공하는 식사권. 자, 회원님 마지막 덤벨 85kg. We prepare admission tickets for the Busan X the Sky top floor observatory, which is located at LCT in Haeundae, the highest place in Busan. 끝까지 해야 됩니다. 끝까지. 자, 부산 대표 랜드마크 해운대 LCT에 위치한 하늘 위의 바다 부산 X the Sky 전망대 입장권을 선물로 드립니다. 회원님 수고하셨습니다. 네, 재밌는 방송 IOB와 함께 선물은 덤으로 지금 바로 참여하세요. 후하 후하.
All right, listeners, time for the final segment of our show, quote unquote. Do you remember what I said was the word of the day during today's show? Probably not, right? So, the word of the day that I mentioned, and I don't find myself using this word a lot, was inevitable, right? Inevitable means something that you just can't help, right? It's just meant to be, or you can't do anything about it because it's gonna happen. So a fitting quote for somebody maybe facing an inevitable situation. Today's quote I bring by Roman emperor and Stoic philosopher Marcus Aurelius. The quote reads, "Accept the things to which fate binds you, and love the people with whom fate brings you together, but do so with all your heart." So this quote, it emphasizes acceptance and the importance of embracing life's experiences with a full heart, even those that are inevitable, something that you just can't change or control, or maybe even challenging. So this quote encourages finding strength and positivity in the face of an unavoidable situation or circumstance. Much like our country is facing right now, something that we've mentioned throughout the show today, are very, very low, record low birth rates, right? But what is our country doing? What is Busan doing? I'm sure you've heard about this. A lot of measures to prepare for a society where we're not seeing a lot of younger people, whereas, keeping up with the times, looking for ways to still provide a good, comfortable life for, those that are here right now and eventually maybe an older age society. So much like Busan is doing, I think just whatever aspect, whatever challenge that might come your way, I guess rolling with the punches, as they say. I do hope that's maybe a skill, I wouldn't call it a personality, but something, maybe a trait that a lot of us can pick up as maybe a New Year's resolution in the next year. Being able to roll with the punches, being able to accept the inevitable, but still do something about it. Don't just wallow in it, right? So yeah, excuse me, as maybe some of you are preparing for 2024, let's be a bit more resilient, right? Being able to, take on the challenges that might come our way. Being able to face the inevitable. That was today's quote unquote, and that will do it for today's show. A big thank you to everybody that participated in our program today. Much love to you. Our last track as I leave you, this one's by the Foo Fighters and Norah Jones, titled Virginia Moon. Inside of Busan was written by Im Soo-jin and it was hosted and produced by yours truly, Min Soo-shin. Everybody, have a good one.
Constellation. surrounding you. Stay there, soft and blue, Virginia moon, I'll wait for you tonight. Sweetest invitation, breaking the day in two. Feeling like I do, Virginia moon, I'll wait for you tonight. And now our shapes become shadows in your light. In the morning when we're through and tomorrow rescues you, I will say good night. Secret fascination, whisper quiet tune. Hear me calling you, Virginia moon, I'll wait for you tonight. And now our shapes become shadows in your light. In the morning when we're through and tomorrow rescues you, I will say